There's a specific kind of exhaustion that comes from doing everything they told you to do and you still feel like you're losing. If you're someone in your late 20s or 30s, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's say you got the good grades and you took the safe corporate job and now you're just burned out, staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m. wondering if this is all there is. If you are a college kid right now and you're looking at a mountain of debt and you've got a pit in your stomach because you can feel it, you might be walking straight into a trap. If you're a guy who feels totally adrift right now and maybe you're back home working some dead-end job, scrolling through everyone else's life online while you're not even at the starting line yet, I'm talking to you too. You are not a failure. You are not lazy. The script we were all handed is now completely broken. That map is completely outdated, and honestly, I'm glad a lot of people are starting to call this out. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why the old script is failing, and then I'm going to give you a new map. Real, high ROI paths that actually work right now with hard numbers. I'll share the exact plan I'm using to build a life on my own terms, and by the end, you'll have a concrete first step you can take this week. So if you feel like you're playing a game that's rigged right now, you're definitely not the only person that feels that way. Over the past year or so, there's been so many people that have posted videos about why they don't like their job and all the things wrong with it and everything surrounding that. And what you see on my screen right now is just in my niche alone. We're not talking about Instagram or even just YouTube in a broader aspect. This is just within my niche. And also, shout out to everyone I put on the screen. Go check out their channels. I'll leave them all in the description. So yeah, we're still expected to follow a script that was written for our parents' economy, a world that doesn't exist anymore, a world where one person's salary could buy a house and a gold watch at retirement and actually meant something. So today I think that script is nothing more than a trap, and the math literally proves it. So let me break this down because I need you to see the actual numbers and not just the frustration behind this. From January 2021 to July 2025, consumer prices rose 22.7%. That is not just inflation, that is your purchasing power getting erased. While average hourly earnings only rose 21.8%, meaning workers' actual buying power went down. So even if your paycheck got bigger, what you can actually buy with it got smaller. Meanwhile, the cost of everything that matters, so housing, food, energy, it keeps climbing. In 2024, the median rent was 32.8% of the median household income. That's pushing a typical household into what economists call the cost burden category. You're spending a third of your income just on a place to sleep. And today, the biggest lie of them all is job security, and it's an illusion, and I think we see that now. The safe corporate job is just one bad quarter away from restructuring. It's one new AI model away from being optimized out of existence. And since 2023, tens of thousands of job cuts have been attributed to AI, and I imagine that number is going to continue to grow. Companies are not going to be loyal to you. They are loyal to a spreadsheet. So there's a lot of us right now that followed the rules, did everything right, and it left you with this quiet, constant frustration. This feeling of shame because you were promised you could win this game, and now you feel like you're failing. You might feel trapped because the life that was sold to you as a reward feels more like a cage. What I can tell you right now is that this isn't a personal failure. You and I both were given the wrong map, and whether we like it or not, it is up to us to fix that. Now let me tell you my story because I know what this trap feels like from two completely different angles. I've seen this from two completely different extremes, and even before I got my life together, I always had this dream of doing something bigger. So I want to travel the world. I've wanted to live on my own terms. I don't want to be chained to a desk. But for years back in Illinois, I couldn't even hold down a job. Like, my life was literally in total chaos because I was in the grips of a crippling addiction. So the problem wasn't the script, the problem was me. And then 3 years ago when I got clean, I did the hardest thing I ever had to do, and I moved to California, and I started working in treatment myself, helping people who were struggling with the same demons I had. I found that I actually do love the work, and it's meaningful and it's important, and I know not everyone can say that about their job. And I was finally doing everything right, like what the script says we should do. So I was sober, disciplined, I was being responsible, and I was following a new, better script. But if you do the math, I'm living in one of the most expensive states in the country, working a job I do genuinely respect, and I make about $4,000 a month. I'm in a very unique, blessed situation where I honestly can keep my expenses pretty low, and the only debt I have right now is a car payment. That's it. After my main expenses like food, groceries, rent, everything, I spend around $2,500 a month, which is, again, that's very good for my situation, and I do not take that for granted. I'm able to save anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 a month. And yes, that will compound over time, especially with investing. But even then, for the goals I have in mind and what I want to do, saving $1,000 to $1,500 a month is not going to get me anywhere anytime soon. Even if I had wage increases or moved over to salary and was able to save, let's say, $2,000 to $2,500 a month, that still would not get me to where I want to be without taking decades of time. I would need a dramatic increase in income to even start getting close to the goals I want to get. And I've had this sickening realization that I've done everything right, and again, I feel like the numbers were still laughing at me. Despite being in a blessed situation, my discipline was necessary just to get to the starting line, but is not sufficient enough to actually win. So following the rules, even the good ones, was only ever going to get me a slightly more comfortable cage. I want freedom. So if the old script is broken, what is the alternative? Well, here's the thing, the game is not over at all. We just require a better strategy. That's really it. So you have to stop thinking about a respectable job and start thinking about a high income skill. So the first path is skilled trades. So first, let's talk about electricians and welders. These jobs cannot be outsourced to another country or automated by AI. An entry-level electrician has a median salary of over $60,000, and senior electricians can make over $76,000. And this all just depends on location. And you can get paid while you learn with zero student debt. Welders with specialized skills in pipeline or aerospace welding can earn over $100,000 a year. And this is real money right here. This is stability, and you're not sitting in an office. And if you keep your expenses low while doing all this, you can get to where you want to be in a pretty realistic time. And the second path is high demand tech roles, and these aren't going anywhere. There are specific tech roles that are still in relentless demand. A cybersecurity analyst has a median salary of nearly $100,000 a year, with top earners making much more than that. And a good UI or UX designer is averaging $87,000 to $144,000, and again, it can go higher than that. And these are skills that are central to how modern business works, and they're often very remote friendly. I have a friend out here who does cybersecurity for a military base, and he works fully remote. And this dude played the game correctly too. He's been able to travel the world and have time freedom, and he's doing quite well for himself financially. I have another friend back in Chicago who's living in downtown right now, and he does cybersecurity for State Farm. Again, he's doing quite well for himself, and he works fully remote. And yes, a lot of these jobs you would need a degree to do, but with what you're making, and if you decide to work while you're in college and keep expenses low, you can have this paid off in no time. That won't be an issue. The third path is high commission sales. So even high commission sales, especially in tech, an account executive in SaaS can earn anywhere from $150,000 to well over $250,000. Your income is directly tied to the value that you create, which is in your control. No ceiling, no politics, just performance. And not only that, you get to learn sales, which is, in my opinion, one of the best skills one can possibly learn. And the fourth path is specialized healthcare. So the demand for a registered nurse is relentless, and it's probably going to stay that way. The median salary is around $94,000 to $98,000. And with specializations, like becoming a nurse anesthetist, or even going farther to become a nurse practitioner, you can easily earn over $200,000 a year. And yes, this is hard work, no doubt. But a suggestion I want to give that I don't see anyone talk about is you could be a RN at a treatment facility like the one I work at. And it's not in a hospital environment, it's a way more relaxed environment, and you can get paid just as much and honestly do way less work. Another thing worth mentioning is even if you're RN or you get your practitioner, you'll get opportunities to maybe do a 3-year contract to go somewhere far off to like Alaska or somewhere else in the country and get paid insane amounts of money. One of my clients who was a nurse practitioner was offered a 3-year contract for $300,000 a year in Alaska, all expenses paid. So think about how much money you could save doing that. You could hit retirement in just 3 years doing that, to be honest. So the takeaway here is this: you have to strategically pick a path where your income can dramatically outpace your expenses. And this is the main foundation of FIRE thinking, which is financial independence, retire early. It is not about living on rice and beans. It's about creating options for yourself. And you have some people even doing geo arbitrage, where they're earning a high US salary on a remote job while living somewhere cheap like Thailand, Vietnam, Colombia. Those are just some of the main places. And there's people who do house hacking as well, where they buy a duplex and living in one side and having your tenant pay your mortgage, which that could be scaled as well. The point is just to build financial escape velocity, but a high income skill is just the first stage to that. To build real, durable freedom, you need leverage. So even a high paying job is fragile. You're still just an employee. So to build real lasting freedom, you have to change the question. Stop asking, how do I get a safe job? And start asking, how do I build a stack of skills that makes me impossible to replace? And this is skill stacking. So instead of trying to be the best in the world at one thing, you can become very good at 2 or 3 things that when combined make you unique. For example, a welder who learns video production can build a massive online audience. A nurse with strong writing skills can create content for healthcare startups. A storyteller who learns basic video editing can build a brand that attracts opportunities that you would never find on a job board. Each skill you add doesn't just add to your value, it multiplies it. And then over time you apply leverage. So in the old world, leverage meant having money or employees. In this world, the most powerful forms of leverage are permissionless, code, and media. I'm recording this video one time, but it might be watched by 10,000 people. While I'm at the gym, while I'm sleeping, that's leverage. That's one piece of work multiplied for almost zero marginal costs. That's the cheat code. The goal is to use a unique stack of skills, apply modern leverage, and start building things you actually own. This is not just theory, this is literally my active plan, and I'm building this right now. And first, I'm building an online service business, and I eventually want to turn it into an agency. I'm helping businesses with real world problems. And second, I'm building this channel and a community for people who are serious about escaping the trap and living life on their own terms and executing. And third, I'm documenting this entire journey in public. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't ever want to be some guru that has it all figured out. I'm just sitting in the trenches right here with you. And that's how I know how to show up. So where do you start? Do not get overwhelmed. I would just pick one thing. Path one is just to optimize. So go all in on increasing your income at your current job, or find a way to cut expenses so you have breathing room. Spend 3 to 5 hours a week learning one of the high ROI skills we talked about: tech, sales, or healthcare. And path two is just to pivot. So start spending 3 to 5 hours a week learning one of the high ROI skills we talked about in tech, sales, or healthcare, and get certified, get the job, and then optimize from there. Path three is to build. So spend 5 hours a week starting an online service or content brand around something you already know or something you're willing to learn. And don't wait for it to be perfect. Just start this week. Just choose one, start small, start this week. Hell, even start today. Because imagine it's like 1 year from today, and instead of feeling stuck, you have a new skill bringing in an extra 3 to 4 grand a month. Even $1,000 a month is a game changer. And you've now built a small emergency fund, but you're not terrified of getting laid off anymore, and you're not terrified of the future. And you can tell yourself, hey, I actually built this. And you know it can scale. For the first time, you might be able to see the path out, and that's what's possible. Just getting out of that survival mindset in the first place is a huge game changer in itself. And mentally, you'll have a lot more options, and you can think a lot more clearly. Following the rules is what got us here, and again, that script is broken, so writing your own is what will get you out. This channel is where we're doing that in real time. So if you're done with the old script, subscribe and join us, and let's write a new one together. I appreciate y'all as always, and peace out.